What is going on, guys? JC Nita here, property owner, investor, and online content creation dabbler, back with another video. And this is part two to the video that I did before about how homelessness is hitting a lot of people who have jobs. And this is about innovative ideas to address the lack of affordable housing. Particularly in this video, it's about Knoxville, but this epidemic is happening across the United States. So let's jump in and see what some of the ideas that they have to address this problem.
It's a story playing out in communities across America. High demand for affordable housing, but not enough supply. It's forcing many into homelessness, including people who are employed full-time. Last week, we introduced you to the Tweety family living in their car for months in Knoxville, Tennessee. Rent costs there have skyrocketed in recent years. City shelters are now over capacity. In part two of our story from Knoxville, our correspondent Jess Gomez shows us the city's efforts to build more affordable housing and one company's unique plan to fill in the gaps.
With dawn barely breaking over a Knoxville truck stop,
guys, make sure you put your jackets on.
Quenisha Tweety and her 3 kids starting their day.
Shemaya, backpack.
They've been living in their car for more than 4 months now.
All right, that's it.
Turn left onto Martell Road.
That's the biggest dream I have right now, is being able to put them back in their own beds.
Tweety works 7 days a week filling online delivery orders after losing her job as a district manager at a downsizing newspaper company.
Isn't it crazy to see her walk up to that big old house and she's living in her car? Now, I know this is, again, it seems like things are becoming more extreme haves and extreme have-nots, and that's unfortunate. And it's, like I said before in the last video, a bit dystopian. And as I said in the last video, a lot of times does not lead to a good ending. But it's just crazy to see her have to live in her car and to walk up and to drop off food to that big old house.
It's hard to save when you're struggling just to make ends meet as it is.
Knoxville, along the Smoky Mountains and home to the fast-growing University of Tennessee, a city in the midst of a housing crisis. The average rent increasing by about $500 a month over the past few years. At the same time, the city's homeless population doubling.
Rental increases in the city and the county have been untenable.
Erin Reed is the executive director of the Knoxville-Knox County Office of Housing Stability. The city committing $50 million over 10 years to spur affordable housing development, 1,800 units up this year alone. Still, it's not enough.
What we need is for government, nonprofits, funders, private landlords to jump in and each bring their part of the solution.
I would stay back there in the woods.
I was thinking, you know, this is a good opportunity for a landlord or landlords to tap into a market that needs their service. You know, offering affordable housing is lucrative and the government will pay you money. So if you, for example, offer your home on Section 8 or a housing voucher or whatever it's called, I'm not sure if it's called different things. No, housing voucher might be a federal thing. That money is essentially guaranteed because most of it comes from the government and not from the tenant. And by the way, people have this misconception that renters who are on those programs tend to be worse renters. They're going to damage your property. They're going to be difficult to deal with. And personally, I don't rent to Section 8, not because I don't want to. I may do it in the future. I have friends who rent their properties on Section 8 or housing voucher program. And what happens is a lot of times they're actually really good tenants because it's difficult to get approved for these vouchers. So they don't want to do anything to lose their voucher, because if they do, then they may never get it back. So you surprisingly find that there are actually really great tenants on the program. Are there tenants who are a nightmare to deal with? Sure. But there are tenants that are a nightmare to deal with who are not on the housing voucher program. So, but this is definitely a good market to tap into for private landlords.
Jennifer Mason has been homeless for years until she found a place here at Second Creek Studios.
So this is the king room.
Katie Linkus, president of the nonprofit that turned what was a rundown motel into 1- and 2-bed studios for rent. 80 rooms filled within the first few months of opening.
There's a population of people who are very happy in a studio apartment and maybe aren't looking for the 3-bed, 2-bath home with a yard.
Those like Mason can rent the rooms for about $220 a week with no security deposits, credit checks, or long-term leases required.
I want to cry because it's really exciting, and to know that it's going to be okay.
Without help, there's no way I can get rent.
Quenisha Tweety hoping that help comes soon. She's been on the list for public housing assistance for months.
Hi, we need
Hello, how are you?
But today, some unexpected news from her caseworker. A room at Second Creek Studios opening up.
This is where we will be staying.
For her kids, a surprise after school. Warm beds for now.
Yeah, we're happy.
It's really rewarding to be able to see people feel safe. I'm a mother. I can't imagine not knowing where we were going to sleep and where we're going to go. Are we going to be warm? Can they get to school? And so to be able to remove all of that, now they can move forward.
Last night, we said goodnight to you. You were in the car. How are you feeling right now?
Overwhelmed, but God, I'm so excited and so appreciative.
Appreciative for the stroke of luck, not afforded to so many others still on the streets. In Knoxville, Tennessee, for matter of fact, I'm Jessica Gomez.
So that's a great ending to this story. Obviously, there are many other people in Cornisha's position who didn't get this opportunity to get one of these rooms, and they're still living in their cars or on the streets. So the problem is still there. I'm happy that she was able to get a space. I think the silver lining, I'll try to stick positive here. I think that there will be solutions to the issue. Solutions such as this, taking rundown motels and turning them into affordable housing, private landlords who see the opportunity to rent to people who need affordable housing, government intervention, more of a community-based way of living. Right now, US, we're very individualistic, so we all want to have our own apartments, our own homes. We might have mother and father living in a house that's 2 miles away, and then you have the sons or the daughters living in homes that are like, there may be different parts of the US, but my point is, it's very dispersed. So we may go back to a more communal way of living. So that would solve the problem as well for people who have lower income. So there's different solutions to it, and I'm just happy to see what happens moving forward. And I'm hopeful because, as I said, in the United States, we shouldn't be dealing with things like this. I think that hopefully things can somehow go back to a strong middle class as opposed to two extremes, because that's just it's not sustainable. So I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens. With that being said, thank you for sticking around and watching the video. Please feel free to give it a like and to subscribe if you feel so inclined to, because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, make great financial decisions.